So for today, I'll focus more on relationship side, because we cannot have a family if there's no relationship between two people. As far as I know, that in South Africa we do have rights and people can marry each other even if they are of the same gender. But we cannot neglect the fact that today we're speaking under the guidance of the Holy Book. So I'll focus on a woman and a man who are coming together to form a union. I must also make a declaration that I normally use Zulu, so I'm not too sure either my audience can understand the language, because I'm comfortable with Zulu. So I'll try to mix in case there's someone who might not understand the language. Is that fine, my Isla?
Yes, 70% English, 30% Zulu. Thank you, sir.
Okay, 70% English. Okay, now for our text for tonight, we're going to use the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3. I'll just take verse 5. Solomon, Song of Solomon. I'm reading chapter 3. Sorry, I made a mistake. It's Song of Solomon. I'm reading chapter 3, verse is 5. It reads as follows. Okay. I charge you, O ye daughters of Jerusalem, by the roes and by the hands of the field, that you stand not up, nor awake my love till he please. In Zulu it will say, ngiyanifungisa madodakazi aseJerusalem ukuba ningaluvusi nongalinyakazisi uthando kungakabi isikhathi. I'm aware that in this congregation we have people who are still searching for life partners. Maybe there are those who already managed to find one. But this text for today, it's very important from the topic that we're going to speak under. We normally take it for granted that each person, if we let me put it in this way, if you are trying to establish a relationship, there's a time where you search for a suitable person. Now, as Adventists, we normally say you must pray before you go and approach whoever that you see fit to be your life partner. But that's what our parents used to say. I doubt in nowadays we're still following that same pattern. I will try to be realistic instead than to be more spiritual and end up neglecting the important things. I'm aware that especially our young people, they no longer consider prayer as the key if you want to establish a relationship. It's a fact. Actually, we don't even pray about it. We find ourselves exchanging numbers, and the moment you get someone else's contact details and you add that person, boom, we are now chatting on WhatsApp. You talk about seeing each other, going out and doing everything. By the time you wake up, you're about to go and pay lobola and do whatever. But if someone were to sit you down and ask you to be honest and say, did you pray for your life partner? Most of us, if we were to be honest, the answer will be no. Even though we'll try to justify that, no, when I met her or him, I was already praying for a life partner. But the question is, did you pray for the one that you have, or did you pray for the person that you're asking out? Are you still considering the rules of the Bible if you're searching for a life partner? Now, in a relationship, there are 3 things that I'm going to concentrate on. One, if you establishing a relationship, normally we always try by all means to be polite. No one comes into a certain lady to plead for love and just say, look, I'm going to abuse you in future, I'm going to beat you, this is what I'll be doing. Most cases, we always present ourselves as people of a certain class. We try by all means to be smart about it. We even make some promises. Look, if you were to give me a chance, this is how I'm going to treat you. That's how we always propose. Now, that part, it's very important before the altar and after the altar. Now, if you come to someone, you try by all means to be honest with that person, and you try by all means to be polite. You portray a certain picture of a man that you want to be in future. You don't reveal your dark side. But the problem is, we're talking about before the altar. After the altar, that's where most people, they reveal themselves, and it's too late for anyone who's already committed in that relationship to quit. Now, when you're dating someone, we go to shops, we buy flowers, we buy chocolates, all those nice things, because we're still trying to build a relationship. That is to say, this is what I will be doing in future if you were to give me a chance. Now, you try to do whatever that's going to soften up the person that you approaching. But the problem is, after the altar, all the things, it disappears. It's a reality of life. It's no longer flowers, now it's flower. We need to do check and stuff like that. No one wants to play games in a relationship where marriage is involved. But before the altar, that's where we try to entertain each other. We do all such lot of things. So the first thing that I would like us to remember is to be polite. Now, the second thing, if you are let's say you are out with the person that you're pleading. Now, if you're pleading someone and you take the person out, you are sitting you in a restaurant, and it's time for you to eat, you always try by all means not to do anything that is going to embarrass the person that you're asking out. Which is to say, even if normally you take 5 minutes to finish your plate, but if you're with someone that you're asking out, maybe you'll take 30 minutes or an hour or so, because you're trying to portray a picture that is going to represent you as umuntu ongaphangi, as umuntu oyinono, as umuntu who takes time, not knowing that the picture that we are creating at that time, that the other person who's listening while you're trying to plead for your case, in her mind, she is thinking that this is the kind of a person that I'll be staying with after the altar, not knowing that whatever that we are doing now is just an act in most cases. That's where most relationships suffer, because because before the altar, we always try by all means to represent ourselves as something that we are not, which is a wrong thing. Now, you try by all means not to do anything that is going to embarrass you. Keep that in your relationship, even after the altar. You must remember always that I'm not going to do anything that is going to embarrass my partner. Then make an example. No one will come to someone that you're asking out to say, look, man, if you were to give me a chance, I'm going to cheat for you. You try by all means to give that person a picture that say, look, I'm your man. I'm going to love you and you alone. No one else will be involved in our relationship. And that person will be convinced that, oh, lastly, I managed to find someone who's going to treat me like a queen that I am, or the queen that I deserve. Now, not knowing that that person, whatever that they are saying at that time, they are just trying to paint a picture of a perfect relationship that they are not going to be able to maintain. That's why we always make a mistake, is to create expectations that we are not going to be able to live up to. Now, in a relationship, if you're establishing a relationship before the altar, try by all means to open up to your partner, to say, look, this is the person that I am. I've got this and that. For example, I'm short-tempered. For example, this is what I will do. I'm expecting someone who's going to understand the kind of a person that I am and try to help me to become a better man. Don't present yourself as a better man while you know that we are not, because the other person uzobumdayisela amanga, umdayisela i-product eyenziwe China kodwa ibhala ukuthi yenziwe eAmerica. Now that person will think ukuthi no man, le product yenziwe eAmerica kanti wena ubuzame by all means ukuyicover lento ukuze ibonakale iyinhle, akuyona reflection yomuntu oyena. But uSolomon, he's a good example when it comes to relationships, because a guy was married to 7,000 wives and 300 concubines. Now you can imagine someone who was able to manage 7,000 wives while we are suffering with our wives, and we are not even in a polygamy relationship. But this one was managing 7,000. On top, he added another 300 concubines. Now he's saying, Matotakazi ase Jerusalem, he's speaking from his experience. Ngiyanifungisa, do not awaken love. Lungakavumi. The problem with our generation, especially our youth, they came to the church, or when they grew up in the church, our parents, they are very good in asking a question that says, ubani girlfriend yakho, or do you have a girlfriend, or do you have a boyfriend? They've never come to us to ask, how strong you are spiritually. What are your struggles in this chain? But the question that they will always ask, when are you getting married? Now, we find ourselves in a situation where it seems as if the only thing that is very important in this church is to find a life partner, which is not the case. What we're supposed to do in our daily walk with Christ is to make sure that our young people are spiritually strong. They are connected to Christ. Not baguma relationships or not. We are more on the side that emphasize that you must find a partner within the Seventh-day Adventist church, to a point where we forget that in this very same church, we've got criminals who comes to church every Sabbath, but they've never met Christ. Now, the moment we focus on saying you must establish a relationship within the Seventh-day Adventist, which is good, but the question is everyone inside the church, in our church, a Christian? The answer, I can tell you, it's no. Now, if that's the case, what can we do then to groom our young people? Is to tell them that, yes, the reality of life, if you are a human being, there will be a time where you feel that you need a life partner. But that's not the first priority in this journey. What you need to do is to find yourself if you are spiritually connected. Now, our parents, they always omit something which is very important to tell us before the altar, so that when we decide to go on the altar, we'll be aware of those key things. It's very difficult to pray with your partner if you are not spiritually connected, especially when there are conflicts in your house. What do you do then? Now, those moments will come. It's a fact of the matter. There will be time where you are going to fight with your partner. There will be time where you are not going to see eye to eye. You'll go to bed not talking to each other. The Bible will still be saying, what do you do then? Now, you cannot encourage someone to get a life partner while that person is actually. Now, I'm going to take a few quotations from E.G. White when he was writing a letter to young lovers. There are very few important quotations to consider if you considering to have a life partner in future. Now, abantu abasha ithi iBhayibheli ungalunyakazisi ungaluvusi uthando kungakabi isikhathi. Sikwenza kanjani lokho? If you read the 10 commandments, iBhayibheli clear ithi ungebi. Now that commandment, by the way, umithi ungebi ayishongo ukuthi ungebi inkomo, ayishongo ukuthi ungebi imbuzi noma inkukhu noma ini, ngoba ithi ungebi ziningi izinto okufanele singazebi, but in our relationship that we end up doing, knowing exactly that we are not supposed to do such things because we are Christians. Now, any relationship that is not guided by the 10 commandments is a disaster. I don't care even if it were to end in marriage, but if that relationship was no longer built in that solid foundation of the 10 commandments, where you'd be able to sit down with your partner to say, can we pray about our struggles? Why it's so wrong, or it's not acceptable if you are going out with your partner while you are still dating, before you even hug or kiss, to say, can we pray for our relationship? I know every time when we ask this question from our young people, they always laugh. How can I pray with my girlfriend? The reason you cannot pray with your girlfriend or your boyfriend is because you know that you are not going to stick on 10 commandments in that gathering or outing. You will end up doing things that violate the commandments of God. That is why it's very difficult for those who are dating to pray together. Not even to send a voice note with a prayer that, look, my boyfriend, look, my girlfriend, when I woke up this morning, I was thinking about you. This is the prayer that I said on your behalf. We don't talk about that. Why? Because in our relationship, we are not Christians. We act like everyone else. We are same as people who go to Zion or Shembe or whatever. I'm just making an example about those churches without omitting anyone. Why so? It's because we go in relationships with feelings, not with intentions of building something that will please God. Whenever we want to establish a relationship, it's about our feelings. It's about that I feel now that I must have someone that I'm going to kiss, someone that I'm going to sleep with, someone that I'm going to gossip with. It's not about spiritually. I can tell that I am not strong. What can I do if I'm looking for a relationship? Is to look someone who's going to help me to become a better Christian. Hence the Bible says, ungaluvusi uthando kungakabi isikhathi. Ama-relationship amaningi aqale before time. That's why they die. Engagcini egcineni efinyelele ekutheni kube khona iy'thelo ezimbi. Many people who are dating each other, they are there because of feelings and premature and they have no intentions of living a clean life. Now, as a young people, when I was growing in a Seventh-day Adventist church, and I'm the only Adventist at home now with my wife. Back then, when we're having afternoon programs or we are chatting during afternoon program or during lunch, there will always be a question, especially from our mothers, that says, young men, whenever you find yourself in a corner where you feel as if you now need a life partner, don't consider someone who can't respect my parents' art. Now, that was just a statement which was one-sided. I've never, ever, even on a single day, heard someone say to me, or hear someone say to me, look, if a young man looks for a life partner, that, or rather a young woman, she must look for someone who's able to respect his mother. Every time when we give counsels, we always focus on one side. That's where we always make blinders. Now, in nowadays, we need to make sure that we groom our young men, especially. It's easy to talk to young girls because in most cases, I don't know, maybe by nature, it's easy to reach out to them and they will be able to listen. But we've got a problem with our young boys. Whenever we try to talk to them, we don't tell them about the principles of life. We always say to them, you need to go and work and find a woman and marry and have kids, which is not the case. In nowadays, we must make sure that if they are establishing a relationship, we tell them that, look, how is your temper? If they presented themselves when they were asking a young lady out as someone who's polite, now, in a relationship, we need to ask a question, how is your temper? If someone is struggling with temper, as a young woman, make sure that you don't commit yourself to someone who has issues with temper, but you help that person to become a better version of himself. Because marriage is not an institution where characters are built. If I'm putting that in a right way, but that's where characters are revealed. Because you can try to hide who you are if you are dating someone. Because like if say 5 Dambama, you go home, I go to my house. We don't see each other during the night after hours. You are there, I'm there. So it's easy to hide who I am. But in marriage, you'll be staying with that person. If you go to the bedroom, that person will be there. Bathroom will be there. Sitting room will be there. If you want to go to the shops, you want to accompany you. Now, that person becomes part of your life every day. So it will be difficult to hide. Now, we need to focus on those issues. Someone must be polite in a relationship. And if you feel that you are really struggling with maintaining that, come up and say, look, my partner, I'm struggling with 1, and 2, and 3. Let me make a practical example. Pastor X maybe will testify. When I was at Helderberg, some of my colleagues also will tell you, I was very, 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 I was short-tempered. It will take me an argument of 2 minutes to say, look, I'm going to beat you now. At that time, I was already at varsity. Now, when I first met my wife, and this is what she said to me, look, man, I've heard stories about you. This is what I've heard, this is what, and this and this. Now, can you tell me that you are no longer that person before I commit myself to you? And to tell you the truth, that was a disturbing question to me because I was not in a position to say, yeah, man, I'm no longer like that. But I was supposed to be honest because she asked, if I give you a chance, what is it we're expecting from this relationship? Now, be honest with me. Tell me everything. And I was tied up in a corner, and I ended up saying, look, I'm not perfect. I'm just a guy who's trying to find himself. Can you help me to be a better man? When I'm not saying our relationship was perfect, we also had our ups and downs and everything. But at least she was aware to deal nani. And I was supposed to be honest with myself, and so that she can be able to help me. Also, she was supposed to be honest with me to say, look, I'm also struggling with 1 and 2 and 3. How are we going to help each other to become a better version? So that if we decide to take this into another step, at least we're going to be a team, we're going to help each other so that we don't end up CMA court to go divorce ngama indicators eswabonile before a relationship. Now, most relationships, the problem is it's because we hide ourselves. We want to pretend, we want to impress. And that is why if we go out in a restaurant, you order something now we just fancy something on the menu. Then because you want to create this person that we are not, to say, no, this is what I'm going to eat. And the moment your order arrives, even your facial expression, it will just say, oh wow, I've just messed up. I don't even know what did I order. Then it's at that moment you must be honest with yourself, and you must come down to a point where you're saying, look, I'm trying to be something that I am not. In our relationship, see a pretender, we are not honest even with ourselves. Why so? Because sinale idea yothando olu yinto efensi kanti uthando yinto honest. Let me make an example. When my wife calls me when I'm driving with friends, in most cases my phone will be on loudspeaker or a Bekenzemond. So the other day I was driving with Pastor Answabe, and my wife was upset about something. So we've got our own language when we talk. She said, dude, to me that was not harsh, because that's how we communicate. We always say, that's my department. When I'm done with thinking, I'll then let you know what to do. That's how we always talk. We always tease each other like that. If Omunye ends up blind. So after the end of the call, Pastor Ranswabe says to me, hey, look, man, if bengakaze ngaba in an audience where you are speaking with your wife, you guys are nhloniphani, you are so rude to each other. But now that I've been exposed in your conversation, I know that's how you communicate. And when she was saying that, I can tell what she was saying with a smile. It probably made to Tina, my relationships were not open to each other to a point where and one writer once said something very silly. What a matured relationship, it's a relationship where you'll be able to tolerate your partner, to compromise where you need to listen to her when there's time for that. And was it the goal resolution was it, and there will be time where you must say was that that relationship simply says to you, ayikho relationship engenawo ini amaphutha. There will be time where enzo xabana khona omunye athi yazini hlukana nami noma omunye amnqaphela. But uma sisa data, we try ukuba yilento esingeyona uma sixabene mhlambe over the phone whatsoever ukuthi no, I can't sleep without talking to you, inhliziyo yami ayishayi kahle, which is not true. Kahle kahle uma sekushadiwe, there are times where you enjoy ukuthi sixabene endlini nonkosikazi. That's a reality. And abantu abaningi, they don't want to admit to that ukuthi umuntu wesilisa by nature, there are times where you just need your space. And your wife, she's totally opposite. Yani yomuntu wani wesilisa. They always want to occupy your space, and there will be time where a man, you just need your space. Now, before the altar, you need to understand the character manje yomuntu wesilisa ukuthi ukuze ngingenzi lutho ezomdisappointa. We always try by you need to understand umuntu oshade naye ukuthi oh by the way ngishade neqaba mina. For example, I don't play R&B music about R. Kelly whatsoever. I don't subscribe to such kind of music, not because they are demonic as some people will say, just simply because I grew up in a rural areas. I'm more familiar with Maskandi. That's what I was exposed into when I grew up. Now, when I'm driving with my wife, I will tell her, look, I'm going to play Shino Mdeka. Now, she will laugh and say, hey, ave uyiqaba man, but to a point where she started to understand the music, to like the music, to accommodate me. It probably me to Tina. Sifuna ukuba yinto yaphesheya sibe siphile nzansi. Now, the fact that we Adventist, there's no one among us who can establish a relationship and maintain a relationship by playing Christ in song, man abana, uzocula number 100. It doesn't happen like that. Sonke masixabana, we've got our own ways of communicating. Sometimes umasixabana nonkosikazi, I'll just play ingoma kaMaskandi. uMaskandi kuyagivana. I'll just put a song kaMaskandi ezokwazi ukuthi umeyilalela uzobona ukuthi le ndoda iyadelela noma ingasho ukuthi I'll just play mhlambe a song ethi washeshe wagana uzokhala ngoba ngizokushiya. Those kind of music, they tell her ukuthi okay, the person engihlala naye endlini uyiqaba, if I were to use that word, ukuthi uyiqaba, in a sense that she mustn't expect me ukuthi uma ngine conversation naye ngizomkhothela ingoma zama R&B, ngizomtshela whatever labaculi abakhona. Fanele azi ukuthi whenever I'm making a reference to a music, maningi amathuba ukuthi ngizothi there was a song that Mpanza Mnyama used to sing. Now she need to come into terms ukuthi okay, the person that I'm married to or the person that I'm dating akayona lento engiyiyona. Then umbuzo uthi how do we then try to accommodate each other? Fanele nami ngingabi phela yiqaba to a point where nayo egcine ngasakwazi ukuze expressa ngokwe language I understand that. So there will be time where I will have to compromise, not because ngifuna ukuba chief boy, but because umuntu engishade nayo yena understand the other language. Now when we do that, we meet each other halfway and become into eyodwa. Now ngifisa ukufunda a quotation especially for our young people who might be here. Letters to Young Lovers by E.G. White. I don't know how much time do I have, but I'm going to stop in a few minutes and allow interactions if there are any. It reads as follows: a young man who enjoys the society and wins the friendship of young lady unbeknown to her parents does not act a noble Christian part towards her and toward her parents. Through secret communications and meetings, he may gain an influence over her mind, but in so doing, he fails to manifest that nobility and integrity of soul which every child of God will possess. In order to accomplish their ends, they act a part that is not frank and open and according to the Bible standards. I just want to end by this quotation, but I want to make a few points on this quotation because that's where we normally make a lot of mistakes if we are still dating. Dating is funny and it's nice. That's a phase that we mustn't lie about. It's nice when we are still dating. It's something else when you are after that phase. Now, E.G. White says, if you are in a relationship with someone else's daughter, you must inform her parents. I feel that as Adventists, we know that truth is progressive. What was true yesterday is still truth today, but in a better way compared to what it was yesterday. I want to highlight a few things here. We must, in doing so, we must also avoid the mistakes of introducing a lot of boyfriends and a lot of girlfriends in our parents in trying to live in line with this statement. If uthando lungavuswanga before time, it will be easy to follow this pattern. But if you are dating for fun, we are going to fail to live according to this statement. Hence, not everyone in a relationship is pleasing God. Some of us who are in a relationship, they are sinning in the name of love because they've been doing so for many years without any purpose. Let me just also make an example. This is my own personal conviction. It is not wise to date someone else's daughter for 4 years and 5 years without a direction. Actually, it's a crime, if I were to say so. Because if you're dating that young lady, we are simply saying to everyone who's watching your relationship to say, this is my future wife, don't come closer. Now, as Adventists, we respect each other. We are brothers keeper. If you're dating someone, automatically I will respect that lady because she belongs to my brother. But if you're dating that lady without any purpose for 5 years, you've robbed that young lady an opportunity to be seen by someone else who might be interested in her in future. Dating someone without any vision, it's a waste of time of that person. Also, we are also embarrassing that young lady when it's time where you end the relationship. Because that person, whoever will ask about that young lady, people will always say, no, she used to date so and so, or she's a girlfriend of so and so. So she becomes someone else's project while you know that you have no good intentions about that young lady. If you know that you are dating someone and you are not planning to marry that person, for your own sake and for God's sakes and for the church reputation, it's advisable to quit or rather to end the relationship if there's no future plans for that person. Because if you date someone and you're trying by all means to maintain not to do anything that's going to embarrass that person, also remember that in doing so, whoever comes in your space, people will always say to that person, we are disturbing something that is good. Don't do that. Now, when the relationship is over, you become something okuthiwa ay umubani ahlukana nobani wena uzoyelana again wamshiya ngoba eboneni kuyo, which is to say now you become into echazwa ngegama lomunye umuntu ngoba that person uhlulekile ukuprotector ngoba uthando ulivuse isikhathi singakavumi. If you know ukuthi one, spiritually you're not matured, two, physically you're not matured, three, financially you're not matured, four, I think it's 4, or mentally, if I'm not mistaken. But you need to focus on just with mentally, spiritually, and physically. Mentally, spiritually, physically, and financially. Those are indicators to any of us. Is it the right time for you to establish a relationship? If spiritually you're not matured, physically you're not matured, mentally you're not matured, worse, which is the last thing, and this one needs some interpretation. I don't want to focus on it that much. Financial. Though we cannot neglect the fact that if you establish a relationship and you've got goals for that relationship, at least you must have a stream of an income, which is to say, if I'm going to take you as my wife tomorrow, this is how I'm going to take care of you. But that's not the case. I don't want to focus on that one. But I want to focus on these 3 aspects. You can't be in a relationship with someone who's not mentally mature. That person is going to abuse you in future. By nature, without offending our females who might be here, by nature, abantu besifazane, they've got their own style of speaking or talking. I don't know which is the right way. I remember on my first year of marriage, we will fight with my wife during the day and end up not talking to each other. She will leave me in a sitting room watching a TV. She'll go to bed. I'll join her maybe late after 11, knowing that, okay, and the moment I walk in, she'll just wake me up to say, are you really sure that we are going to sleep without resolving this? Or I'll just hear her crying. Now, at the back of my mind, I'll be asking myself, this woman, got the shades from 8, 7, all those hours, not saying anything to me. Now it's my time to sleep. And she's asking me in a fun way, ulele, kumnandi, ngoba ngikhala nje mina wena uyajabula. So which means lento wangishadela yona, wangilethela yona lento la ekhaya. Now, if you are not mature enough, you will end up saying, hey, if I were to use that word. But if you're mentally mature, you will understand that she's hurting. She doesn't want to sleep without talking to you. So you will have to come down to say, I'm sorry for not giving you that attention. Can we talk? You need to be polite. Try by all means, you need to be polite. And believe me, the moment you open that platform, she will say, but you just said now you need to talk. Now you are telling me and if you are not mature, you are going to fail to understand that's how they function, that's who they are. 2, if physically you are not mature, you cannot be in a relationship while you're 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Relationship iyahethana izokulimaza inhliziyo before time, uzoguga isikhathi singakafiki. By the time uba na 25, uzobe uswethwe ngabafana abaningi. By the time you marry someone, amantombazana amaningi bazobe sebethola u-second hand wenhliziyo okade bekuhamba kudlalwa ngawo ngoba uqale ukudlala uthando while you were not mature. So help yourself in doing the relationship. If you are still physically not mature, don't involve yourself. Okugcina engifisa ukugcina ngakho say it's mentally, physically, and spiritually. If you've never, let me make this example. If you've never ever, even no matter what a meeting, no matter what uDokas, no matter what where's your boyfriend a commander, no me phakamisa ingoma, noma kuthiwa kathandaze thandaze, umthemba kanjani umuntu onjalo ongakaze athandaze enkonzweni ukuthi uzokwazi ukukuthanda senino2 endlini? Awukwazi ukuya uvala amehlo bathi abantu uthanda libono. By the way, iqiniso when we are still dating amehlo avale kodwa ngeshwa avuleke emshadweni and suke sekulate kwabaningi. So awukwazi ukutrusta istranger kuNkulunkulu. Into umuntu nje umuntu othenjwe usathana ukuthi hambe enkonzweni wena ngiyakwazi ngeke uzuphendule noma ngashumayela abantu bese uthi wena hayi ngizosicommita kulo muntu. Make sure ukuthi that person can pray, because any relationship engakhulekelwa, believe me you, in future kuzobonakala ukuthi bekuyi relationship eyakhelwe nje ezintweni ezifensi ayi emthandazweni.